The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled on a case out of Mississippi tonight. And this case involves a Mississippi state law that was passed during the height of the COVID pandemic that allows ballots to be counted for up to 5 days after the election, as long as they were postmarked by Election Day. And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that law invalid. Their ruling stems from the idea that Congress passed all the way back in 1845 that Election Day is the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. That is the day of the election. Now, they didn't say anything about mailing ballots in or receiving ballots early or absentee voting. They said all of that is fine. But they said that effectively after that date, the polls are considered closed, at least in regards to this Mississippi law, and they cannot accept any more ballots because even though you are counting the votes afterward, and it might take several days, you are only at that point counting the finality of the election. You are not, the election is not still ongoing while you are counting those, and that's where they are drawing this distinction. Now we'll see what happens with this. I'm fully expecting there to be some kind of an appeal. And they didn't say in their ruling, they left the idea of what to do as far as what other remedies there are in this up to the district court below it, that where this case was originated from. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I don't know. But I do kind of expect this to be appealed to the Supreme Court in some kind of emergency fashion, because here we are less than 2 weeks to go to the election and the rules are being changed. You know, some people were counting on mailing in their ballot and now have a chance to be disenfranchised because of this last minute rule change. So they are saying effectively with this, at least in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals opinion, that it is illegal to count the ballots even if they were in the mail prior to Election Day, if they weren't in the possession of the state or the county voting office on Election Day. And they said part of that comes from the idea that your ballot is considered cast when you turn it over to the election officials. And they listed some absurd examples. They said, well, could the state legislature pass something that allows you to count your ballot up to 100 days later? Or post a picture of it on social media and have that count? Or could it count if you, as long as you check the box and then you never return the ballot? And they were being ridiculous, and they even admitted they were being ridiculous. But they said they have to draw a line somewhere, so they are drawing the line with what Congress has passed, as far as they said back in 1845, like I said, that Election Day is on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. But they also pointed out to other things like filing a tax return, and they said that Congress does know about mailbox law because your taxes, as long as they are postmarked by, April 15th, they are considered filed on time, even if they are not received to the IRS, but, till April 25th, March 1st, whatever. They said Congress knows what the mailbox rule is, and they could have included that language if they wanted to, or they could have amended statutes since then, and they have not. So we'll see what happens and how this gets appealed and what changes it means for Mississippi. But as of right now, at least according to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, it sounds like Mississippi will not be able to count ballots that have not been received if they have not been received on Election Day. Mississippi will not be able to count them. At least that's the way it stands right now. We'll see what happens.